Film School Slacker contains adult language and themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome back to Film School Slacker, the podcast where I even added another movie to my watch list today. So,
how is it not just a continual process at this point?
I mean, it is, but it's just unbelievable that it just keeps happening this dramatically, even after like 160 some films in it at this point. So,
hey, we got content.
We do.
That's the plus side.
The good news is this is a very fruitful source material for this podcast. But
I mean,
on the flip
if we're
side,
talking like doing one episode a week, that's over 2 years of content.
Yes. Correct. And it only looks like it's going to get bigger. And that's only factoring in my watch list.
Right, not mine.
Not our new... stay tuned for the... what did you say? Flip the script?
Yeah,
the Flip the script episodes. So we'll have the exact reversal where it's a movie that Megan has not seen, but I have, which is cool. And then I'm sure we'll have double blind features where neither of us have seen it. So,
but our guest has seen it.
Our guest has seen it.
Or, whatever.
There's all sorts of stuff. And then, we'll get there.
So anyway, what's today's movie? Hush,
yes.
Dexter.
Oh, I'm Ian.
Oh, yeah, you're Ian. I'm Megan.
Nice. Hi, Megan. Today we are watching Pretty in Pink, Not Pretty Woman. Which is good. I have only seen... I was texting you today that I've only seen Molly Ringwald in one other movie.
And what movie was that?
The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
I am fairly confident was the one movie I've seen her in.
I mean, it's... that's one of her top 3 movies that she's known for.
Because that's John Hughes, right?
Yep. There was a 3-year... So this movie came out in 1986.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Breakfast Club was 85.
Okay.
And then 16 Candles was...
Right, and that was a big popular one 84. For her.
And that's a fucking weird movie.
I've heard that. I want to see that's on my list.
It should be, and we should get to it, but seriously.
And if it's not on my list, then I guess you get a point for that.
Yay. All right, so anyway, Pretty in Pink came out in 1986, starring Molly Ringwald, John Cryer, Annie Potts, James Spader, and Andrew McCarthy, among others. Directed by Howard Deutsch, written by John Hughes.
Oh, okay, this is written by John Hughes.
Yes,
okay.
It's written by John Hughes, not directed.
Okay.
And
for the record, 16 Candles was not on the list yet, so you get a point.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. And this is early. Okay, so and now I'm losing my mind. Was Ferris Bueller's Day Off a John Hughes film?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, but now I was questioning. And
he
that
was kind of a big like
80s explosion
and early 90s.
Okay.
Because the first 2 Home Alones.
Oh, that was John Hughes
were John Hughes too.
Wow, he had a vibe.
And St. Elmo's Fire and a couple weird ones that you wouldn't expect.
Okay.
But
yeah. Now looking at what your Ferris Bueller's Day Off is.
I'm pretty sure 86 or 87.
Yeah, 86.
So he had 2 big movies that year.
Huh. Also 106 minutes. He really likes that less than 2 hours vibe, which honestly, I appreciate that.
You know what? He likes them short. He likes them sweet and to the point. He likes redheads and Matthew Broderick.
Same. My type is redheads and Matthew Broderick.
I mean, not so much these days.
Oh,
I mean, he's adorable. He's a little bean, and I just want to give him a hug. I think he would give a pretty decent hug. Anyway,
he does seem like he'd be a good hugger.
Anyway.
Awkward, but a good hugger.
Yes.
I have absolutely no idea what this movie is about.
I love that.
I genuinely am going into this entirely blind, and the only thing I know about it is I was pretty sure that John Hughes was involved and Molly Ringwald's in it. That is literally all I know about this film. It's literally all I know.
Those are the 2 things.
The 2 things that I really and it is such a basic thing to know. So
I was introduced to this film when I was say 12 or 13.
Okay.
And I loved it. I kind of have I guess it's like nostalgia by proxy.
So it's
for the 80s,
nostalgia
for the 80s
parents,
movies,
sort of?
Yeah. Because my parents loved these movies,
yeah,
and this was in the 90s and aughts was when I was growing up and becoming of age.
Right.
And so like if you didn't find it at your local video store, at your local Blockbuster, you didn't really see it for upwards of 20 years.
Right.
This was the era before Netflix.
Right? You could instantly get the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had nostalgia for these movies. A lot of 80s movies I ended up seeing, and like kind of in my early teen years sort of adopted into my own little like
headcanon about nostalgia.
I mean, my own little like I don't want to say favorite movies, but like the lexicon of movies that I watched and media that it
was sort of a core movie.
Yeah.
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 I gotcha.
So I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay.
I'd say probably 5-ish years.
5-ish years? Okay. That's interesting. So last time you saw it was pre-pandemic. That can color things. It's weird.
I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah.
And kind of see... Because it's very... I mean, there's... Not a plot twist, but there's a couple plot points that I kind of want to get into when we come back.
Okay. I'll keep an eye on those, and I'll of course keep my unhinged notes.
Yes,
because
I love your
not?
Unhinged notes.
No, I'm excited. I know a little bit about the genre. Like I've experienced some of the genre.
John Hughes movie.
Yeah, like genre? Style. Yeah. And and I know that it was my connection to, like, my parents were not very like 80s pop culture oriented. Like I never really got a lot of, like, there was some stuff, like my dad listened to Boston. That was almost more 70s. It's like the 80s never happened to my parents. I don't really know why. Or it was just a different set of things. And so a lot of this stuff I kind of missed. Like Ferris Bueller's Day Off ended up on the family lexicon, but a lot of things didn't. And so a lot of my connection to like understanding what happened in the 80s was sort of experienced through Ready Player One, the book.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. It's I enjoyed it. It's not a good book.
I mean, no, I have feelings, but I don't actually want to get into it because we're not watching that.
Well, I'm talking about the book, though.
That's true. I haven't read the book.
Oh, yeah, that's a big difference. I want to. Okay, wait for our spinoff podcast where we read books that we have.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, because that's what we need.
That's exactly what we need.
More homework.
More homework is exactly what we need. Perfect. Well, I think that I am ready if you're ready, and
yeah,
let's
do it.
Let's roll the tape. Well, that was a delight.
I'm glad you feel that way.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the nostalgia factor, like, because it really had. It
is so 80s.
It hit the 80s mark in a way that I didn't know was even possible. Yeah. There's so many places to start.
So can I blow your mind?
Feel free.
Should I blow your mind now, or should I wait until we go through your notes to blow your mind?
You know what? Just go ahead and just go for it.
Okay, I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay.
So the entire last 10 minutes of the movie, when she gets to prom, and that whole sequence was a reshoot. They originally shot the movie where she ends up with Duckie. But test audiences in the 1980s hated it. So they went back and reshot. That's why Andrew McCarthy's hair looks so weird, because he was already in a different movie where he had to shave his head.
So they had to put him in a wig.
So they had to put him in a wig.
Okay.
And if you look closely, I just noticed it for the first time. You can kind of see the line.
The line. Yeah.
But anyway, so the whole
doesn't
movie
shock me.
The whole movie until the last 10 minutes is set up so that she will end up with Duckie.
Interesting.
But we never got that because people wanted her to end up with the popular rich guy instead.
of course, classic 1980s.
Right?
So this doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
There were a couple of other things I noticed. John Cryer's hair was a little different.
Yep. His hair was like longer.
It like the whole thing felt different. And also narratively, I didn't know that I bought it.
Yeah.
Like I get why the payoff is good, but that was
my initial feeling when I watched it the first couple times. I'm like, this feels weird. Yeah. It feels a little forced. Like, what is going on? And then I looked up, I think I had the DVD version.
Amazing.
That had
so you got some bonus features.
Yeah. So I watched the bonus features, and I think it wasn't John Hughes talking about, maybe it was the director, like the director's commentary on the last 10 minutes or something.
Okay.
I can't remember, but I remember reading like that it was supposed to have a different ending and that whole thing.
I'm just going to start going through my notes.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
Oh my God, there's so many. The opening sequence.
Yeah.
John Hughes, you little prevert. That was my first note.
He wasn't the director, though.
I know, but he wrote the damn.
True.
I'm still blaming John Hughes.
We'll just blame John Hughes.
Yeah. I think he had a Molly Ringwald fixation.
Oh,
or was that
definitely.
me? I don't know which. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Like, once she decided to not work with him anymore, she didn't work for a bunch of years.
Okay.
Like, or on anything big for a bunch of years, because.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you not have a thing for Molly Ringwald? She's just so pretty.
Exactly.
Even now, she's just pretty.
Is she doing stuff again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
She was on the Riverdale show, and I think, yeah, she was.
Yeah.
What's his face's mom? Whatever.
She's playing a mom now.
Yeah, I mean.
She already. The line from I think it was like back when Amy Schumer had a show. Forever ago. I don't know. Is she canceled now? I don't even know anymore.
Who cares?
Yeah. But she had she walks it, like the whole sketch was that she walked into a clearing, like there was like this picnic happening, and it was like Tina Fey, oh no, I can't think of her name all of a sudden.
Amy Poehler.
Yes, but more than Amy Poehler, there was who played Elaine in Seinfeld?
Oh, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, yeah. She was there, and there was like one or two other people that were a little less known, but it was somebody was having their last fuckable day. Where you transition from being the hot object, the object of a man's sexual desire in Hollywood, transitioning to being his mother. Oh, it's like it just happens overnight.
Oh God, I hate
so they have the last fuckable day.
I hate how true that is.
I didn't see much of anything else from her stuff, but I saw that sketch and it was really funny.
That's yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So
yeah, because the opening sequence is her like getting dressed, ready for school,
and it wasn't really necessary. Like it wasn't really like there was nothing. It had nothing to do with the plot except for us watching her get ready. Yeah, and it was very zoomed in. Like it was just. It didn't need to be so zoomed in. Like I'm not saying I'm complaining, but it was very
it was a little.
It was sort of
viewed from a 2024 lens.
Yes.
Maybe we didn't need to be that zoomed in on her shin or her calf while she's putting on pantyhose. Or on her lips while she's putting on her lip gloss.
Exactly. Just it focused on some stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Just there was some focus.
A little bit. My next line was, there hasn't been a good video music montage since the 80s. Because the use of like montaging, like from an editing perspective, but like mainstream pop editing with like music and that style that's used all the way through till now, it feels like it kind of patterned in the 80s. It kind of got formulated in the 80s. Yeah, but like the use of like, and unfortunately my note doesn't remind me which scene that took place in, but it was one of those early scenes where there was a montage, and it was so good. It just it moves
was probably
well.
the first. Yeah, the first with the psychedelic furs, Pretty in Pink.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, because that song sets the whole tone for the movie.
Totally,
and so does the montage.
Yeah, Oh, it was good. It was great.
Yeah.
I love that the place that she worked at was called Tracks with an X.
Yep.
That was great. My next note just reads, Annie Potts is an icon. Also, am I in love with Annie Potts?
Yes, to both.
Fair. That's fair.
I want, like, and I didn't figure it out until the last scene.
Yeah.
But, like, the reason I love Iona so much and the reason I want to be Iona so much is just, like, she has, like, the comforting, mentory, big sister energy.
Yes.
That I really wish to emulate.
It feels effortless for her. And, yeah, because,
like,
she did the role so well.
This is just her, you know, her younger employee.
Right.
She doesn't have to take this much of an interest in her life, but she does.
But the characters were deceptively awesome. Like, I like that Andy was, she clearly had a talent. Like, she had the ability to, she had good fashion sense. Mm-hmm. She knew she not only knew how to sew, but she knew how to make and have a vision and do stuff.
And, like, literally oldest daughter syndrome, take care of her own father.
Right, but I think she's also only daughter, right?
Well, yeah, she's the only daughter, but also, like...
Yep. No,
I literally, like, in my brain during that first scene where she's, like, waking up her dad, I'm like, wow, oldest daughter syndrome.
Yeah.
You have to take care of everything in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a whole...
a whole deal. But I liked that, but she was also just, like... she was just always honest. She was kind of like almost a little awkward, but mostly just always honest with the way she presented herself into the scenario, which I think was something that Iona like felt connected to, which was really cool. Their relationship felt very natural.
Yeah.
Which was neat. These hairstyles depleted the ozone.
I can smell the Aquanet from here.
You can smell it through time and space. It's insane.
It's a cloud.
It's funny for me. The 80s is so interesting to look back on, like visually.
Yeah.
Because there's some parts of it where I'm like, ooh, I like that. And there are other parts of it where I'm like, oh no, that is like ouch. Some 80s hairstyles are super fun. And some 80s hairstyles are just like, oh my God, that looks bad. That looks actively bad. Anyway, that was a wild one. And then I had a really specific like weird film school thing to inject.
Bring it on.
Yeah, here we go. That first scene at night where she was driving her car and it was pulling up to the house. Yeah. The headlights were red. Did you notice that?
I did not.
Okay, so I didn't necessarily see it otherwise.
Just because of a lighting?
No, it's to do with the film.
Oh.
So 35 millimeter film, like Kodak Vision 3 or whatever, that kind of standard film stock. It doesn't have. It's very similar to like a Kodak Portra. You can develop it the same way. You can. Yeah. It's very similar to like 35 millimeter, like 135 still film.
Yeah.
But the way that it's like chemically put together, it's sensitive to infrared light. And so you're supposed to, when you're shooting, you're supposed to put an infrared blocking filter into your lens stack.
Right.
To block infrared light. Otherwise you get these weird red halos will show up everywhere. Yeah. And I think that it was really dark. Yeah. And they didn't want to lose the light.
Yeah.
So they pulled the filter out and just left it.
Okay.
And it was one of the things that I thought was really interesting about this movie, also from like the kind of filmmaking, film craft perspective. Yeah. It's well shot from like a framing and action and movement perspective. It's really hit or miss in terms of like focus pull. ISO, like it's kind of weird. Like it's almost rough. It's not quite there, but it's almost rough around the edges.
Who was your DP, guys?
Yeah, like who was that guy? He's gonna come find me. No, and like again, like I'm not saying, because I was not a cinematographer. It's not easy to do, especially when you were shooting on 35, motion film. But it's really interesting. They were mixing. They were fixing film speeds a lot. So like there was that scene where, that's actually a note that I had farther down. There's a scene where they, let me see. I had
Was
a note for this.
Was it the date scene where there's some really bad ADR?
Or some really weird sounding so they're like they're on the street at night.
Yep.
And they're walking around, and there might have been some ADR there just because of the noise of the space.
Oh no, I'm talking about later in the date scene where they're coming out of the club.
Oh no, this is not that part.
Okay.
This is so they're just wandering.
Oh, when he picks her up and
they're crossing the street and stuff.
Yeah, that was a weird.
It was. You notice how it was like the color was weird and it was also like super like fuzzy.
Mm-hmm. It was really fuzzy.
Yeah, they had. I think that the scene was just so dark that they just physically like used really 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 high speed film. So it was like a really high ISO, which just means it's got much larger silver halide crystals.
Yeah.
And this is more complicated than this, but that's as far as I'm understand. Well, look,
but hey, you know what?
That's literally why I yeah. So
Love
that was what I think happened is like they were just like, look, we can't use our normal film stock for the scene because we literally don't have the light for it, and they had to swap to like a super high sensitivity film stock, and it's like they're like it's gonna look kind of like shit, and they're like we don't really care, which is I kind of appreciate, because it didn't make the movie worse.
No,
I feel like they've focused their attention on better things, because I think that's a thing we lose track of. Like so many people like need all these things to be exacting and perfect, and then it ends up feeling robotic and doesn't even feel organic anyway.
Yeah.
That's my own little thing that I just enjoyed.
That.
Yeah, it was just and like I could be off base on that, but I believe that's what was happening. Swipe right, Andy.
The computer.
He was like hacking her on the computer. That was a lot of fun.
That was what did I call it? The 1980s Tinder date
situation. Yeah, it was good. I'm like, I don't know how he got that bitmap photo of both his and her pictures in there. That would be a lot of work in the mid 80s, but whatever.
You know what?
Go off, King.
You know what?
Do you.
He's he's going after the girl he likes.
I like that they insinuated because he was part of the Richies that he had more access to a computer. Like that made sense for his backstory to me.
And like I don't know if you caught it, but it's when they're in the stables, he mentions he's like the heir to McDonough Electric.
Oh,
so like
yes,
maybe there's something there
too.
But yeah, he definitely had more access to, if not had a home computer.
Yeah, almost certainly
in the 80s, which was very rare.
And then the next note, this is a great segue into the next note, which is this movie really, and I think this is true for a bunch of John Hughes movies, but that idea of like the whole pitting the classes and putting and we kind of discussed it a little bit during the screening, but I loved the visual choice of making everyone that's with the Richies just like all dressed the same and super boring.
Yeah.
And then everyone that was the poor kids or the outdoor kids, the stairwell kids
with personality.
Yeah, they all had to dress in their own way and make their style known.
Yes.
And there's actually it's kind of like other countries have experienced this later. Like there's an entire subculture in South Africa, and I don't remember the name of it, and I'm not going to try to figure it out. It doesn't matter. They've been canceled now, but there's a hip hop group in South Africa called D Antwoord.
Oh yeah.
And they're a problem, but
they're
that's
terrible.
Yeah, they're bad people. But anyway, that weird style they have is that kind of
counterculture.
Yeah, and it's the idea of being sort of like you're poor but you're fancy. You're trying to, you have to convey your own sense of style and your sense of being in a word, and you have to do it much more aggressively. Which
than the rich kids.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. So this is very much in that same line. I also felt like, and this was a note that I had like later on, but the whole thing felt like very Shakespearean.
Yeah,
like the way that they kind of especially earlier on. I think we'll get there, but I think that or we kind of talked about where it ends a little differently than I was expecting it to, but it ended kind of rushed and not very Shakespearean. But the whole build up, the initial arc of the story felt like kind of like Shakespeare. You had people pitted between two different kind of either social classes or families or whatever, and they had that and then they had their friends that were on their shoulder feeding them information. It had that kind of symmetry and energy, and it and maybe that's why it felt immediately so connecting. Like it was just a kind of universal sort of story to tell, and it kind of transcended the 1980s. Which helps. That
whole date scene is, you just feel awkward the whole time.
Totally.
It feels like you're trying to like put these two puzzle pieces together, but they don't quite match, and then the pieces around them are also like what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to make this fit when it clearly doesn't?
Right.
But in the end it fits anyway, because I don't know, the audience wanted it to.
That makes me a little bit mad.
I know, right?
Yeah, and I'll get to some of that because I have some notes, but I had a thing that was related to this. No, because
like that first date is, they go. She's like, I don't really want to go to a party because I don't think I'll be accepted there. Right. And then they go to the party and she's
wasn't accepted.
Definitely not accepted there.
Right.
So then they go to her comfort zone, the club she goes to with her friends, and then Duckie's there and he's, hurt that she's dating this rich guy
they're hurt. They don't feel like that they have a home in either location.
And then, Duckie's rude to Blane.
Right.
Blane.
I
love that.
It's pretty good, actually.
And then that scene culminates in the, like, I don't want you to see where I live because I live on literally the wrong side of the tracks.
Right.
And he's like, I don't care about that. Do you care about, like, it doesn't matter. Like he's like, to me, it feels like he's really the one pushing the I like you for who you are rather than
that's true.
Your economic status and the way your friends feel about me, the way my friends feel about it. I just want to get to know you.
Right.
Rather as you.
Yeah.
Rather than, rather than all the other shit that people put onto you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a romantic thought.
It is.
I feel like he's a little too pushy about it.
The thing that I liked about it is he was never creepy. Like he as a character, he never really got creepy. I think
even when he's like, do you want to go upstairs? And she's like, hey, dude, like, I'm not that kind, like, that's not going to happen. He puts his hands in his pockets and then awkwardly, like with his elbow, picks up the 6-pack and then puts, picks up the pretzels with his mouth. And then they keep talking while he's got the bag of pretzels in his, like, that's cute.
It was
a cute thing to do.
He was clearly like, he was very naive.
He was really trying. He was really naive.
He really wanted to believe.
Trying.
Yeah, he really wanted to believe that it could just work.
Yeah.
And she has a lot more life experience and knows that it doesn't. And I think and it was interesting to watch him have to go through those stages of understanding.
Yeah.
And realizing that the rich people that he was hanging out with were just actually trashy human beings.
Yeah.
And
I think if this movie had been in that 2 hours and 15 minutes, we could have explored his side a little more.
I know, like, his parents were never addressed.
Right. We never meet his parents, but we kind of get that whole thing with Steph.
Right. Steph
James Spader.
Yeah, definitely James Spader's character sort of...
He is a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit, and he sort of is the personification of all of the problems. Like, they kind of condense all of the bad people into one guy to kind of represent all of that. And I think you're right. Like, because the movie is 97 minutes long, it doesn't really... They didn't really have the opportunity to go that route and see...
deeper into that.
And I think that is maybe where I got a little lost on Blane.
Okay.
Was because I sort of, like... He felt like a very, very one-dimensional character in a lot of ways, because he starts naive, so he's sort of a blank slate anyway.
Right.
And so you eventually
and
it gets better.
His wardrobe doesn't help.
His wardrobe is, oh my god, that's actually a note I have. It's just all caps. Blane, your blazer.
I feel like that's the subtitle to this movie. Blane, your blazer.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's the shoulder pads for me. I just God.
They really loved weird structure at the top and then shapeless toward the bottom. I don't really get that. But it was interesting, the whole.
And then at the end, he confronts Steph at the prom, and he's like, "Well, the whole thing with Steph is it's not just that he's a piece of shit; it's that he's a piece of shit. Andy knows it, and Andy outright rejects him at the beginning of the movie."
Yeah.
Like the first scene where she pulls up to school, Steph is like, "Hey, so when are we gonna like go out and I can, treat you like my little like secret fuck doll?" And but she's too smart for that. She knows what he's up to. She's like, fuck no, get the fuck away from me, creep.
Right.
And then at the end of the movie, Blane is like, "Oh, right. You're so obsessed with my relationship with her because she thinks you're a piece of shit.
And you can't buy her.
And you know that you're a piece of shit."
Right.
Even if you're not going to admit it,
yeah.
You're a piece of shit. So I'm just going to say piece of shit like 12,000 times.
That's good. We'll put up a counter.
Cool.
I think, and I think that's maybe why, I think that end prom scene, I think they tried...
Oh, it was so rushed.
I think that they also tried to fix that part of Blane too. Yep. Like they tried to fix.
They tried to give him more of a backbone.
Yeah, and I just
because like his whole reason for breaking it off with Andy is, "Oh, I forgot I asked this other person to prom,"
which is not true.
And then he shows up to prom alone.
Right.
Which
was that actually true?
Yeah.
Like, is that how the original ending was? Like, what I'm curious about was how they originally tried to structure that going to the end, because I just don't like the movement between the narrative flow between that sequence where she's mad at him, and then flowing into prom. It was missing something. Like it didn't feel like it lined up right. Yeah. Like considering that a lot of the movie did have really good narrative flow, it just didn't. So that's interesting.
Again, that could have been just a timing issue because if we had another half hour or 20 minutes or something, I think we could have gotten more out of that prom scene.
Right.
If we didn't delve deeper into Blane's side of shit, like we definitely could have gotten more of the whole prom epiphany that Blane has.
Yeah.
Like his date, could have been like, "Why are you here with me when you clearly want to be here with her? I'm going to go fuck off and go make out with Duckie in the bathroom." Like
Right.
Cuz Duckie deserves it.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Duckie.
I love him. He's a little he's not shy about. I mean, he's shy.
So here's Duckie is interesting because watching this movie, because the first note I have is this movie captures the feeling of awful hormonal feelings in high school better than a lot of them. Like, so it's
so hormony.
So unfortunately, like, it's uncovered some repressed shit. So that's a problem. And a lot of that was through the lens of experiencing the world as Duckie.
Yes.
Like that was as a person of all the people in this movie, Duckie is the person that I feel like I'm the most understanding of, where he always had a front. Like he never addressed, like the line that he said where I'm mostly a riding by kind of guy. Did you ever park? Like it's a great metaphor because it doesn't just talk about, even in the sense of just like talking about a relationship. It transcends his whole personality
to take the next step
in anything. He's just afraid of
There's
anything.
There's a lot
that
of fear in his character.
Yeah, and like I just felt really like I have, like I wasn't nearly as outgoing or as go get him as Duckie, but what I do feel like I share with him is his sense of, I'm gonna create a front and have a personality with all the people that I interact with, and it has no bearing on how I behave, as like how I'm feeling underneath or what my wants are, what my needs are. Yeah. And they never line up, and I never show anybody how I actually feel about anything. And it got to the point now where at this point in my life, that's that's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know, like it was, I played the Duckie for too long, and then that's just kind of what happened.
And then the lines got blurred, and
Yep. So it hurt me in a very like weird part of my deep psyche
you,
from
John
forever.
Hughes.
Fuck you, John Hughes. Like that whole Duckie dealing with the shit. Like I never even signaled that I was interested.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's actually true.
You don't think so?
I think he's telling her that because they have a very close friendship.
Clearly.
They are very, like, they've known each other since they were kids.
Right.
He's very affectionate with her, like, you know, with her, like, praising her and everything. He never says it outright. And I don't think that Andy is picking up on just how deep his feelings are because of his facade, his bravado, his... And this is something that I also experienced, where
in my mind, how I feel. This happened in college. So anyway, we're not going to say anything beyond that situation. But anyway, but what ended up happening? Save it for your therapist. Save it for my therapist. It's like no, I'm just going to
talk
say
to strangers on the internet
instead.
Duh.
That seems like a way better plan.
Cheaper.
But the thing that's crazy to me is, oh my god, the cat is just wandering into the Pro Tools rig.
Anastasia.
What are you doing? Okay.
There she goes.
She's off. She's like, you guys are no fun.
Fuck you.
The sense of he has always cared for her, and therefore, like, why would my pattern of behavior change? So he's like the expectation, like, she's not picking it up. It makes sense she's not picking it up because nothing is fundamentally changed.
He's never,
and that's
he's never gone in for the kiss or made the move or said, or even like, said I am actually really deeply in love with you,
right? Because he's too afraid.
Yeah,
and I think that's something that I get that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing where it's like somebody will absolutely miss it because I don't flirt, or I do and I'm bad at it, or that's just how we have always interacted.
Or
like, that's
I do it and it's the what is it? Schrodinger's flirt. Which is the amount to which the flirting depends on how it's received.
Mine is actually inversely related. If I don't actually care, I'll flirt all the time. Yeah. That's my problem. Same. And then if we're both broken.
We're terrible.
We started a podcast together because we're just broken. It's fine. Anyway, I just found it to be very interesting, and they did such a good job of writing a character that you could see that there was that hurt underneath, the fact that he had that kind of monologue while she was out of the room.
Yeah.
And the fact that no one went, well, that's weird, this monologuing. Like, I know it isn't like at no point he just kind of slipped into Ferris Bueller mode.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Like, I didn't question that. Like, it ended up being okay. So that was really interesting to me. Like, I just think that the way that they characterized and personified and built out the Duckie character was really, really interesting.
I love Duckie, especially now in 2024,
right?
Looking back, and he is, and I hate this phrase. He is in the friend zone, right?
Hashtag friend zone.
But he's not the sort of incel-y, like,
no, he's not bitter.
He's not bitter about it. He doesn't
feel entitled.
Yeah.
And this is why, and that's the reason I like the character of Duckie, is because that is I feel connected to him because he proceeded through the entire scenario the same way I felt.
Yeah.
Which
he
was
does get mad that she's going out with this other guy.
And it's okay to have feelings.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He's like, no, but I care about this person. This isn't. I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
And that was really the moral through the whole thing. Was really, I feel like it was really ahead of its time in some ways, in the sense where it's like even when you have the conversation with their dad when they're sitting out there, that whole idea of it's like, you can't make someone love you back, and it's not their fault. Like, they don't have to. They're not required to.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee.
Right. It's just it's a really beautiful kind of moral. Like, it's a unique kind of moral for the time.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is cool, and it just didn't get it was a healthier portrayal navigating relationships than I was kind of expecting to see from a 80s movie, you know?
Because he doesn't get mad at her.
Right.
He's
kind of mad at himself.
He's mad at himself. He kind of gets sulky.
Right.
He does act out and
I would
kiss
like to
Iona.
I would like to sit in the rain. That'd be great.
I mean, sit in the rain with a dramatic crane shot.
Oh,
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, with like 5 pairs of socks on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So many socks.
So many
but like
socks.
and you know, in the end he comes, you know, he meets her at the prom. He's you know, they're happy to see each other. It's a thing.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, you know what, this other guy came alone.
Right.
I know he hurt you, but he's trying to show you how he feels.
Right.
And I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna you know, go fuck this blonde chick that I made eyes at and then broke that fourth wall.
That's the part that never happened to me. But anyway.
I mean,
sorry.
That's okay.
It's all right.
But yeah, just like I
agree.
I love Duckie. Especially as a character nowadays, I think. And first of all, like, fuck you for what you for you calling me out on me liking bravado. Because I said when the beginning of the screening, I'm like, I love Duckie. I have such a crush on Duckie. He's like, so you're just attracted to bravado.
You just like the bravado.
I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, and I think, and the way Duckie commits to the bit just makes me the whole try a little tenderness scene is fucking classic, and I love it.
I literally said the John Cryer lip sync is a full send. It was such a. The whole thing goes through. They do reactions and cutbacks, like, and it utilized that whole awesome track space. That was really fun to look at. No, it was super fun.
It was
a super fun treat. Yeah, it was the whole at all times I was engaged with with that, and he was and props to John Cryer. It was a great portrayal. Super fun.
He was on an episode of a podcast, one of my true crime podcasts recently, and
weird.
He is still just as delightful and
that's
fun.
Great. No, he was a delight.
Yes.
I also, on that note, John Cryer equals John Mulaney changed my mind.
Yes. He's like the proto John Mulaney.
John Mulaney, yeah. Which, I mean, that tracks. Like, John Mulaney's going for that suburban Chicago tracks.
He does, yeah. And John Mulaney has that suburban Chicago
energy
vibe and commits to the bit. And has kind of that sharp features and
absolutely.
They're very
baby face, sharp features.
Even though John Cryer is from New York, but whatever.
Right. They had a lot of New Yorkers that were just blatantly New Yorkers, but it was fine. It was good. This is such a Ian thing. Amtrak was pretty new at the time. There was the Amtrak thing. It was like 10 years old at the time. It was like there was no central rail in the US before that.
Oh geez.
Like 1971 or something. So it was like 10, 12 years before. Yeah.
15 years.
15, was it 15?
86.
Yeah, 86. Yeah. So it was shockingly it was funny for me to see that, because like
to the
Amtrak
audience,
does go.
Ian is a train nerd,
I guess,
which I very much enjoy.
I appreciate that. I'm glad someone does.
It's like one of your like hidden things that you know a lot about, like a shocking amount about. I don't know.
Yeah, commercial airliners and trains I probably know more about than I would normally let on. And theme parks, that's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually that one I probably know the most about, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
that's okay. It is what
anyway.
It is. It is what it is. It's my own. It's my own thing. Blane, your blazer.
Blane, your blazer.
This score slaps. That was the line.
It's so good. It's so 80s. It's like this movie is just the pinnacle, I think.
It really is. The other thing that was interesting to me was it aged well.
Yeah.
Literally there are two words in the whole movie. Two.
Okay.
They use the F word and the R word.
The anti-gay F word?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, it was, and in fact
But I
don't remember who said it. I think it was James Spader.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he also say the other one?
No,
that was
actually Andy that said that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was just and literally like it was those two that were just kind of like that didn't age great. Ugh. That was of a time. But other than that, like no part of that movie you couldn't probably make. I mean,
oh god, yeah,
you could make it. I don't think you could make it the same way. Like it wouldn't be relevant culturally. Like you could make it the way that you made it in the 80s just because of the cultural part of it. But the story and the portrayals and the way it was put together, like it didn't send off my cringe meter except for those two bits.
So are we just gonna remake Pretty in Pink for our big movie?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool.
Who's okay? So then, okay. So then, if you now that you've manifested this into the world, who are you casting as your main cast?
Oh God, I don't know any young actors anymore other than like Zendaya and Tom Holland. That's pretty much it.
That's really okay. You know what? We're gonna have to come back. You know what? Someone message us and give us your, because I don't know any. You're right. I don't know anybody either.
Okay. Okay, well now I want to think about, god damn it. Ian.
Look, this is what we do
First of all, fuck you. Second of all. Okay, ooh, so for Andy,
yeah,
I would definitely want to go with Amanda Stenberg as Andy. I would scooch it from the suburbs of Chicago to inner city Chicago. Or like more urban Chicago.
Yep.
And Duckie. Who would I want for Duckie? Well, okay, I think James Spader was like 25 when
he looked 25
when this movie was shot.
He looked fucking 30.
Okay, but that's another thing I appreciate about like movies nowadays is that they're trying to cast young people with young actors.
Right.
I think, okay, who would you cast as Iona?
Ooh. Oh shit.
So like someone mid-30s, like our age.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be like, and they'd be like working at like a record store.
Ooh, okay. Vibe. So Amanda Stenberg, Asa Butterfield as Duckie.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I'm scrolling through a list right now.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm thinking about Iona though. Let me think about this.
Yeah, you think about Iona. I'll find another. Try a little tenderness. It's stuck in my head now.
Oh crap! I don't know why I'm struggling so bad to think of like somebody that would work in that role.
Ooh, no, I take it back. Not Asa Butterfield. Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things as Duckie.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
He'd be so fun in that role.
Yeah, that'd be super fun. I could see
Oh, please. You're laughing. I need to know.
What about like Anna Kendrick?
Oh my god, yes.
Like,
yes.
That could be really
Anna fucking Kendrick as Iona.
Really funny.
I would. Oh my god, yes.
I want that now.
Yes, please.
Just like I could see her having the right energy to just go all in on it.
I mean, and she would be a different flavor Iona, but she could definitely do the weird big sistery
Yes.
Like, I care about you.
Right.
But I got my own, like,
my weird own thing going on. Yeah.
I'm a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
We still don't have a Blane.
I don't know enough about anything.
I don't know those young people. I mean, if I want to go generic, Tom Holland. I know he's
a little older,
but
yeah, that could work.
I feel like it could work.
Yeah, that could work.
Or, one of the other
here's my one problem is I just really, really want to watch Tom Holland do the lip sync. That would be really funny to me.
I need it.
That'd be really funny.
So bad. Like that is like the reason to cast him in that role.
Well, but he'd be Duckie then.
Oh, that's true. Shit.
Yeah. But I think
Gaten Matarazzo could fucking.
Yeah, you're right.
He would fucking own scene.
You're right. No, he's got the better energy for Duckie.
Yeah.
But like anyway.
But I mean, Tom Holland, please do the lip sync of
please do
Tara
that
Little
either way,
Tenderness
because it would be really
as
funny
Duckie.
for me. Yes.
Just like on your own, you know, because you have so much free time. I assume
with a current day Molly Ringwald and Annie Potts standing at the other side of the thing, just watching.
They'd be like, "What is our son doing?
What is our son doing?" Amazing.
Anyway.
Okay, so that's the sidetrack that we did.
Anyway.
The idea of just idly wandering around in the evening on a date feels so foreign. Like, just like wandering the street. No one does that anymore. That's so weird.
That's so weird.
That kiss is Akko Taco, but I suppose it's high school.
Akko Taco. It's so...
Oh, the one that pissed me.
Because he just like spider hands her entire face.
It was a little unnerving. Like, all of their kisses were kind of weird.
I mean, but like, I don't know if that's just because Andrew McCarthy kind of looked, I don't know, there's something about him that I'm just like,
yeah,
are you a real human or are you a lizard person?
Right, that learned how to be a human at school. Yeah, I don't know. And I've always been a believer in the fact that kisses are better for people having them than the people watching.
Yes.
Like, kisses are weird to watch in general. Like, there are people that like do a good job of it on screen, but like I feel like they did a decent job of it being like an awkward high school kiss, and I guess that's great. But also, I didn't really want to watch it. Like, if that makes sense. Yeah, it was funny, but I have another all caps one.
I love it.
So they have a wide shot of her pulling up to her house.
Yeah.
Like, and I just went, that's where she lives? That's the wrong side of the tracks? It's super cute.
It is a cute house. And she has a cute ass car.
Right.
Also,
I have to look up her car. Hold on. I want to know about this.
Let's talk about how in the 1980s you could afford a cute little house, theoretically.
This is what I was,
on two part-time, because I would assume Andy's money goes toward bills.
Yep.
The money she gets from working at Trax goes to bills because Dad only works part-time.
Yep.
Until the end of the movie when he theoretically gets a full-time job, but whatever. Stops being a deadbeat and picks up full-time work.
Yeah.
I thought her interaction with her dad towards the end, where she confronts him about his depression.
Yes.
But they never say he's depressed, but he's obviously, he sleeps all day. He only works part-time. He definitely has kind of a downtrodden, beaten down kind of feel.
Yep.
And, late in the movie, we find out because he's pining.
Right.
He's still in love with the woman who left him. Right. Which, in the 80s was, not unheard of, but it's
rough.
Rough for a woman to leave her family.
Right.
To feel
her
that
whole family. It's like, how awful are we that
husband and child.
Right. How awful are we that she just up and left us, and they have to come to terms with the fact that it's her, not them. Which again is that it plays into that wider kind of moral for the whole story is
like we couldn't make her love us.
Right. There's nothing that it's not a fault on us. It's nothing we could do.
Problem,
it's her
not
problem.
Ours.
Right. It's just a message that I don't think was common at the time.
No,
it's just very interesting.
It's still not common.
No, I just found all of that, and like her interactions with her dad just like very modern and charming, and like it was well done. I also, that car that she had, it was a Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, 1958.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that car was damn near 30 years old
when it was
used in filming.
Right, and now it's almost.
Can I
70.
have it? It's cute and pink.
It is actually like
cute little fucking car.
First thing she gets in that car, I'm like, I'm sorry, that's a cool car.
It is a cool.
Want that car?
Like everything about her is just kind of cool.
Yeah.
And her and Duckie, they're just cool,
effortlessly cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And they're made out to be kind of the, by the popular kids, the shit that they scrape off their heel. Like
right. There's so much more interesting, which is, the entire goal of the film. To be fair.
Also, like, I never, like, just the popular kids.
Yep.
Just, are very.
Yep.
I never
understood.
Like, I would rather be cool of my own merits than popular.
Right. And you'll find your people.
Yeah.
I think we were lucky that.
Oh God, yeah.
We had
drama
kids. Yeah, the drama kids stuck together and
leading up, and I feel like high school is portrayed like this in a lot of media.
Yeah.
Like, where I went into high school nervous about cliques, and then when I was in high school, I'm like, I don't really see the
people that don't want to hang out with me. I don't want to hang out with them.
Yeah, like, and I have a really broad range of the kinds of friends that I have. Like, I've got my drama friends, I've got my class friends, I've got my AP and whatever other friends, and
yeah, no,
like,
I agree.
I never felt pigeonholed into one thing.
No, I agree. So, it's interesting to see, but yeah. Oh God. My next note. That scene where James Spader's in this fucking white suit in the hallway, all I could think of was Beauty School Dropout the entire time. I'm just waiting for James Spader to open his mouth and go, Beauty School Dropout.
Which, like, I guarantee they used that high school in Greece.
They must have.
I guarantee I've seen
Talk about a movie that did not age well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Talking lots of shit. Gonna give me lots of tit. Grease lightning.
Yeah, great. Oh my God.
The chicks will cream for greased lightning. Greased lightning, by the way, sounds like the name of a vibrator. I feel like that song is about a vibrator.
I mean, it could be.
I almost guarantee.
For oh no, I can't. Captain Hammer to walk in and be like, Grease lightning is my penis.
Grease lightning is my penis. Nope.
Why is it grease? No, it doesn't matter.
Although, like, Nathan Fillion, you're very attractive, but like,
but no,
not as Captain Hammer.
No, yeah,
Captain Hammer's
was actually terrible.
Captain Hammer, corporate tool.
Oh man.
But anyway,
classic. Why is everyone smoking?
So,
my assumption here, in this day and age, like, a lot of people were 18, whatever. Like, you can buy nicotine products, but like, I think all schools basically banned it on property.
Maybe I feel like that was more of a 90s.
Maybe that was a 90s thing.
But like, also, I feel like schools would have banned I don't know.
I would have assumed they would have banned. Okay, hold on.
Should I text my mom?
If you'd like,
mother,
just call mom. Mom,
did you smoke in school? And like, also, smoking inside is a peeve of mine. Like, smoking cigarettes inside specifically, because my parents, like, I grew up, most of my family smoked. In the aughts, a lot of them quit when, like, Chantix came out, like the smoking cessation pill came out. A lot of them never picked it up again. Some of them did, my mom and stepdad included. But they never smoked in the house. Right. They always took it outside. Yeah. Or like in the car.
Okay, I went to the subreddit called r/AskOldPeople. Sometimes the internet's usually terrible, but sometimes it's great.
I love that.
And based on people said these are all people that graduated in the early to mid 80s.
Okay.
And they all said that generally you couldn't smoke in class, but there were usually areas that you could smoke in the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I highly doubt the stairwell was one of them, James Spader.
Probably not, but also, like, hey, do you know who his father is?
My father will hear about this.
That scene where she walks in and they're, like, trying on prom dresses.
Yes.
That one I was just like, my father, it was truly a full moment.
Just, ugh.
Yeah, the worst. No,
Rich
it was
privilege.
It was an interesting piece, but okay. I need to get back to my list here.
But yes. Like, literally, I don't know. I think it's because I grew up around smokers, but I've only ever smoked one cigarette in my life, and it was
Same.
more of a symbolic thing for my grandma who died.
Right.
Who was a lifelong smoker. Anyway, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you're trying to make symbolism in your life like a fucking writer.
Yeah. Hi. Have we met?
Oh my God.
Have we been friends for a really long fucking time?
Yep.
But yeah, I've only ever smoked one cigarette, and then I felt sick.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I needed to steam clean my insides. I hated it.
I hated every second of it. A very low point in college, my freshman year, and I was standing outside the film building in downtown Chicago, and just like we were having a bad day, and like one of my friends was standing with me, and they just like handed me an American Spirit. I'm like, you know what? Okay, fine, we're just doing this.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
Yeah, not great.
But I'm sure if I was a writer, I could have spun that.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Do not recommend cigarettes.
Don't smoke.
Please don't smoke.
I mean, I don't recommend cigarettes.
Right.
Smoking other substances.
I don't really care.
I mean, mostly just weed. I don't care.
I don't really care.
Don't smoke crack.
Don't smoke crack. I used to smoke crack.
Yeah,
don't do that.
But yeah, I never picked up smoking, which I think my parents are really proud of that.
Right. They were glad that you never.
Well, because
they both did.
They're both still smokers.
Both still smokers. Wow.
And yeah, I mean, my dad never did.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle did.
Well, otherwise, your dad wouldn't have been able to get drafted onto the Packers.
I mean, he was also a firefighter, so
right. That would there's all sorts of other
fitness
stuff
aspect of that,
right.
And the
knowledge of the number of fires he put out. Yeah, that's fair.
Also, like people who fall asleep while smoking and burn to death.
I in my neighborhood, I'll do my walk, my stupid walk for my stupid mental health.
Yeah.
And there's a coming around the block on the other side. I was walking on the street, and one of the houses. Clearly there was a house fire.
Yeah.
And I looked down, and there were 2 crosses stuck into the
shit.
I was like, oh no. I'm like, I guess I have to Google this, because now I'm curious as to what's going on, because I'm that person. And it was a mother and a daughter, an adult daughter, and her mom, and they had no functioning smoke detectors. And that is why they didn't get out. So this is a lesson to everyone, and I don't know what caused it.
I don't know why we're just turning this into PSA.
Yeah, well, whatever. This is where we end up.
Check your smoke detectors. Don't smoke cigarettes.
Don't smoke cigarettes. Just tell them. Yeah, no. So yeah. Anyway, that's a whole.
Check your smoke detectors.
Check your smoke detectors, you guys. And that happened to my parents.
They didn't have smoke detectors.
They had their smoke detectors. They hadn't tested them forever. They didn't work. My dad tried to make simple syrup. And then walked out into the garage and forgot that he had it. I know, and he had it in there, and then like forgot and walked back into the house, and he couldn't see through the kitchen.
Yikes!
And then the smoke detector's gone off, so you had to reset the. Anyway, that was So anyway, everyone make sure you have good functioning smoke detectors, seriously, and have a fire extinguisher in your kitchen.
Yes,
these are all, and make sure
very
it's the
important.
right kind of fire extinguisher for a kitchen.
Yeah,
because there are some. Anyway. This is just life experience. We're just
the more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know with Film School Slacker.
Film School Slacker. Little moment for you.
Anyway.
Oh yeah. Then I had a line. I'm so mad that I met Annie Potts and hadn't seen this movie yet. Like I met her and had like just didn't. I knew her from like 2 things. Anyway, ridiculous. Blane had a vintage Artist of Chicago poster in his room. That was pretty fun. Yeah, that hopper thing. Yeah, that was kind of fun. Little shtick.
Nod.
Also, Duckie just pulling a full Ferris Bueller and looking dead into the camera. That was unsettling.
I think that was improvised.
Fair.
By John Cryer on the day they were shooting. It
felt
looked into the camera. Looked back, and
did his next thing. It was funny.
Fuck that blonde chick.
I don't know. That's the other one complaint I have is they really leaned into the dumb blonde thing, which is a little annoying.
I mean,
80s
tropes.
Yep, it
Not
is
my
what it
fave,
is.
but
All
it's
right.
what it's.
All right, it's time. We got to do our frickin' review. Gotta figure out what we're gonna rate this damn thing.
Gotta dance. Oh wait.
So, production design. I have some feelings about this.
Okay.
I think that the design was great.
Yeah.
I think that it was well directed. I think it was well framed and well edited. I don't know. I didn't love. It was
well shot.
I didn't love the cinematography from the technical perspective.
Right.
It felt kind of slapdash.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it wasn't like the framing of it was bad.
Yeah.
It just felt
off.
It felt off or something. It was fine. And I don't think that's unusual for a John Hughes movie to be a little that way, but I don't think...
Oh, just wait till we watch 16 Candles.
Oh, boy. But I don't think Ferris Bueller was quite that bad.
No.
So I don't know what the deal was. It was just because it felt kind of low budget. I don't know what the deal was. It was just it had an interesting feel to it. So I'm going to dock it for that a little bit just because I noticed it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5.
Okay. That's kind of where I was going to.
Yeah.
Like maybe a 3 on the technical side, but 5 for the average it out. Comes out to 4.
So story, other than, I'm gonna give it a 4.5. This is and my logic on that is, I think it had a very like relatable Shakespearean easy story to dive into. It's just like why Star Wars did so well. It's that space opera.
Yep. You could just
follow through with it.
Hop right in. Know what's going on.
Doesn't matter if you're not from the 80s and don't know all the things happen. It's fine. I don't know that I'm not saying that I'm mad that she ended up with Blane. I don't think that's necessarily a problem.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it was executed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to dock it a half for that. So I'm going to I'm thinking 4.5.
I'd say 4.5. Yeah, because like I said, if it could have just been like 20 minutes longer, I think we could have gotten that last chunk.
Unfortunately, it actually did feel like a reshoot. It felt like they had patched the story. And done something after the fact. So it is what it is. I kind of wish I could have seen the Duckie cut.
Because I bet they had like 2-3 days for the reshoot before people had to go back to
and whatever.
wherever they were going.
Right.
I feel like it exists out there somewhere.
Yeah. I would love to know what that's like.
I would like to Google that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then performances. I think I'm going to give this one a 5.
All right.
Do you have a different opinion?
No, James Spader is a good
bad
James
guy.
Spader.
Yeah, he plays the
Duckie was fucking on point. The only character I'm not in love with is kind of just Blane, but I don't know if that's I don't think it's an acting thing. I think it's a writing thing.
I think he did everything he delivered well.
And he was likable.
Yeah.
Like he was affable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't completely shudder if, I was in Andy's situation.
He awkwardly smacked his nose against yours just like
while we were making out and he spider fingered my hand. Seriously, I cannot not see it.
It's stuck in my head now. It's awful.
Anyway,
but
I think
you're not gonna fault.
I'm not gonna fault Andrew McCarthy for that.
I think that's totally fair. Okay, so we're saying 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Cultural impact. Oh boy.
So we didn't really talk about this.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not from the era. Mm-hmm. But this movie was huge.
Yes.
Because we're coming off of Molly Ringwald's success with 16 Candles and Breakfast Club.
Okay.
I feel like Andrew McCarthy had been in a few things. Or maybe this was, I don't know. But this was, I feel like this movie was what really solidified that whole brat pack.
Yeah.
In media. Because this, it was the same pool of actor. It was, the Rat Pack, but
the brats.
20 years later.
Yeah.
In the 80s. Rather than the 60s.
Right.
So yeah, this movie was huge. I feel like, especially with young teenage women at the time, like my mother.
Sure. And I think that there is something to be said that a piece of media was created for them. Yeah. I think that's kind of nice.
That kept being created because, after this we have St. Elmo's Fire and...
I don't think St. Elmo's Fire is in my list.
I've never seen that one either.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, just a bunch. And like I said, we're not from the era, so we weren't around when it was a thing.
Right.
I do kind of want to watch... Andrew McCarthy actually came out with a documentary... called The Brat Pack, or Bratz. Where he like today goes around and like meets with the different Brat Pack members, and they talk about just kind of how it was back then to feel to be that big at that young of an age, and and I want to watch it because I think it's streaming somewhere. I think it's on Hulu, or maybe possibly HBO or Max or whatever the fuck it's called. But yeah, I think the cultural impact was up there.
I mean, we're probably good to do
I'd say 4.
A 4.
I'd say this is probably our highest rated movie so far.
It's a 4.4. Actually, our highest rated right now.
Is that Wolf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I really, really enjoyed it.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it was a fun little romp.
It makes me want to dive back into my 80s playlists.
Well, the good news is there's I'm sure a number that I haven't seen, so we should get a couple of those lined up on.
I meant musically. But
musically.
Also,
that too. Yes. No, that was the score was awesome.
Yeah.
So that was super fun.
We get OMD's. I can't even remember the name of the song, but the touch you once, I touch you twice. Yeah, and OMD was another. I mean, they had the Don't You Forget About Me.
Yeah,
from,
Don't You
Breakfast Club.
Forget About Me. Oh yeah.
So no wonder they showed up in this one too.
That makes sense.
I mean, why the fuck not?
Breakfast Club has got all the people in it.
Oh god. I mean, that was Anyway.
Yeah. Well, cool.
4.4. So on Letterboxd, it'll have to be a 4.5.
Yep.
Love it.
We round up in this house. All right. Well, excellent. My first John Hughes film of the podcast.
On the podcast.
Not my first John Hughes film, but on the podcast. And
I'm sure it's not 16, the last. We'll have to watch 16 Candles
and
some point.
Yeah, it'll be good.
That'll be so fun.
I'm very excited.
That movie is unhinged.
Oh God. Okay. I'm terrified.
It's definitely more problematic nowadays.
Good. Great.
But it's another fun, crazy ass romp. So
amazing. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode of Film School Slacker. I'm Ian.
I'm Megan.
And we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Film School Slacker. Our graphic design is by Mitch Ransdell. Music by Ariel Shalom and Ziv Moran. Voiceover audio provided by Mike D and Janet Paoni. Learn more at filmschoolslacker.com.